Say, what's cracking, YouTube? It's your boy 16 to life, and I'm back like I'm on a parole violation. Yard down! Now, for those of y'all that's new to my page, in 1994, I got arrested. I was eventually sentenced to 16 years plus life, and I served 24 years straight in the California prison system. During those times, I accumulated some good stories, and I'm going to share one with y'all today. If you happen to like this video, be sure to hit that like button, comment, subscribe, and most importantly, hit that notification bell. That way, anytime I drop a story, you will be notified ASAP, and you can hop on it whenever you're ready. Now, let's get into this story. Now, this story takes place in July 1994 in the Riverside County Jail. I had just got arrested and couldn't have been in that jail no longer than 2 or 3 days. Now, at that time, before I got arrested, I had been on the run for 3 attempted murders, and I was kind of going all over the place. I had been to Portland, Oregon. I had been to Denver a couple of times, Montana. I had been down to Louisiana, but I was living in the city of Fontana, which is a city in California. I had just came back from Denver. At that time, I had been going to this studio, and this dude had a connection with a dude who had an independent record company, and they wanted to sign me, and I was working on an album. I had like 2 or 3 more songs. So while I was in Denver, I'm in communication with the dude, Rod, who was his name, and he's telling me, hey man, chill, when you gonna come back, man, so we can finish up the album? I said, okay, I'll be back on July the 26th. I was in Denver. So I get back on the 26th. My girlfriend picked me up. We drive to our apartment. At that time, we were staying in Fontana. So I'm going to the studio the next day. So the next morning come, I tell her, okay, I'm getting ready to go to the studio. She told me, okay, I need to run to the store real quick. I'll be right back. I tell her, okay, hurry up and go. So maybe about 10 minutes later, I just happened to glance outside. She's still outside laughing and talking with one of the neighbors and stuff. So I just threw a shirt on, I think. I'm still in my boxers, maybe. I might have threw a shirt on or something. Ran downstairs. Like I thought you was going to the store. So I hop in the car, we laughing and clowning or whatever. So now she's getting ready to drive around. We lived in these apartments, and she's getting ready to drive around the apartment complex. It's like a big apartment complex with maybe 4 or 5 different units up in there. She was going to drive around and drop me back off in the front. And so now as we drive and she busts a left, a car get up on our bumper real tight. Now she hit another left, car get back up on us again. Real close. She like, damn, why is this car all on me like that? I said, damn, that's the police. She said, what you want me to do? What you want me to do? I said, drive. I got my gun. I said, I'm shooting it out. Drive. I'm shooting it out. No, I'm just messing with y'all, man. I told her, just pull over, I said. So we pulled over, they do the felony stop, driver, turn the key off, stick your left hand out. They, do all this type of stuff. I think they intentionally do that to try to confuse you because they know you're scared, because, okay, when they pulled us over, suddenly it seemed like 30, 40 police just came out of nowhere. I see shotguns, rifles, people with SWAT teams and all type of stuff. So I'm thinking like, damn, where all these people come from? So unbeknownst to me, they had been watching my house for a week. I find this out later on. They told me that they hadn't seen me. Of course they hadn't seen me because I was in Denver, but they said they had been out there wasting resources and stuff. And they was getting ready to come up in the house that day, whether they had seen me or not. Unfortunately for me, I just happened to come home the day before or whatever. And they hadn't even seen me the day before when I came, which was on a Sunday. I guess they wasn't out there then. So anyway, they snatched me up or whatever, take me down to the Fontana police station. Then a few hours later, they take me down to the Riverside County Jail, which is maybe about, I don't know, maybe 30, 40 minutes from Fontana. Unbeknownst to me also, they told the jailers, don't put me nowhere around the phone. I guess they was at the house questioning my girlfriend. So now they wanted to question her and ask her a bunch of questions. And they wanted to keep us apart until they were done questioning her, was going to try to question me. So that whole time, for maybe about 5 or 6 from the time I got there, they didn't house me until the next day, maybe around, I don't know, 3 or 4 in the afternoon. They kept me in this holding tank. I got a good story to tell y'all too, man. I seen a fight up in there between this old Asian dude and this black dude. And I never done the story because when I first done it, me, y'all, I like to come with the voices, laughing and clowning. And people was telling me, on some of my original stories that, hey, man, you mocking our race and all that. So I had never told this story, but I'm going to definitely tell y'all that story in a couple of days or whatever. So anyway, when it's finally time for me to get housed, They called me into the room. They asked me, was I gang affiliated? I never tell the police I'm a blood or a crip or whatever. I told them no. Well, they was telling me, okay, well, you can go to this one tank. It's a mixed tank. We got another tank. It's an all black tank, but it's a crip tank. I told them, okay, well, yeah, send me up in there. They said, well, no, but you're not a crip. I said, well, it's all black. I'll be all right. Dude said, yeah, you'll be all right. It's a lightweight crip tank anyway or whatever. So they send me up in there. Now, when I go up in there, as soon as I get up in the dudes is gang banging on me, asking me where I'm from, which was the custom back then, you know what I'm saying? And he slide me in a cell with a dude by the name of Big Ooze from Rubidoux PJs. And so we holler for a minute. I asked him where the phone is at. So he told me the phone is over there. So I went and got on the phone. Now in 3A, they got a few different phones. I hopped on the phone that's downstairs. If anybody's ever been in 3A, it's downstairs. The tank was something similar to what you would see on 60 Days In, big old giant tank. On the outside of the tank, you had another officer sitting in the control booth with tinted glass. And then there was 2 other dorms in there too, so he could look around and see all the other dorms. So now as I'm on this phone, maybe about two or 3 minutes, all of a sudden, beep, boop, bop, boop, boop, bop. Some dudes just start fighting like right in front of me. So I'm on the phone. I tell my girlfriend, hey, I'll holler at you later. I hang up because I'm trapped in the corner, where the wall comes at a crease and so I just get on up out of there. And so as I get up out of there and I'm standing around, all of a sudden I notice this big old giant dude, probably about 6'2", 6'3", maybe about 230 pounds, 225, He come up to me. He say, hey, E-Chill, what's up, man? Now, when he called me E-Chill, I take a step back because most of my homies call me Chill. If you know me as E-Chill, you know me from way, way back, or you may have seen it on my license plate. So I don't recognize the dude. So like I said, I took a step back. I asked him, hey, damn, man, who the hell is you? He said, hey, it's me, Billy. So when he say that, I take another step back. You know what I'm saying? Because now I recognize who he is once he tell me. But he had gained a bunch of weight since the last time I seen him. Billy was a dude who wasn't from Bannon, but he had been out in Bannon the last year or two. Every time I would see him, or a lot of times that I would see him, he would be hanging with these Bloods. And let's just say that I wasn't in jail for doing nothing to no Crips. And so when I see him, and also he used to have a red GMC Blazer. Now back in those days, you would never catch a Crip in nothing red. No red cars, no red shirts, none of that stuff. So like I said, by me seeing, in my mind, associating him with the Bloods, I thought he was one of them or whatever. And so I took, like I said, when he told me who he was, I took another step back. I said, man, what's up? What you doing up in here, cuz? What is? He said, oh, no, be quiet, be quiet. He said, I'm from Rubidoux PJs. I'm from Rubidoux PJs. Like I say, he telling me to be quiet. So it made me think, too, that somebody else somewhere at some point in time must also assume he was a Blood, because he was telling me, don't, be quiet. I'm not no Blood. Don't say nothing like that. So me and him start talking, and I'm skeptical of this dude, like I say, because in my mind, I've already associated him as a Blood. So at that time too, he also was the porter up in there. Now the porter is basically like a janitor. You go around, you mop, you sweep, you wipe the tables off, you straighten up, and a lot of people like to be porters because you get out of the cell more, you get to use the phone at times, everybody else is locked up and all that. And so at that time, he was a porter. So maybe a day or two later, we sitting in the day room watching TV. In Riverside County, we had 2 vending machines. One vending machine sold stuff like soap, combs, hair grease, soups, candy, chips, honey buns, that type of stuff. The other one it was a vending machine that sold soft drinks. You can go up there and get you a Coke and all that old type of stuff. We had these little cards, and they would put money on the card, then you'd run your card through there or whatever. And so while we sitting back watching TV, he decides to go get him one of them top ramen cup of noodles or whatever. So he goes to the hot water faucet, puts that steaming hot water up in there. Then he sets the soup on the table to let it cook for a few minutes. Now, while the soup is cooking, for whatever reason, a guard called him to come outside of the pod and do something out there in the hallway or whatever. So now while we sitting there, it was a dude up in there by the name of Gun. Gun was from Pomona Trade 57. Now, if y'all keep up with my stories, remember I told y'all when I had done a story, it was called Sometimes You Take the L. How when I first got up in there, I'd gotten into a fight. A dude ran up in my cell while I'm fighting this other dude and cut me on my back with like a razor on a comb or whatever. Now, if my memory serves me correct, Gun was in there for killing killing the homeboy of the dude who ran and cut me on the back, who came in the cell, cut me on the back. And so, to my understanding, them dudes had a couple of fights. I think it was clearly understood in that tank that the dude Gun and the dude who cut me on the back, they was the top dogs as far as it came to fighting up in there. And also at that time too, Riverside County Jail, we had a free weight system in the gym, so dudes was up in there lifting and all that. Now this dude Billy is probably physically the biggest dude in there as far as weight is concerned. He's not all cut up. He's big and chunky and stuff, but he's not necessarily cut up. Gun was probably about 5'10", maybe 185, maybe, if I can remember right. So anyway, when Billy goes out to the hallway to do whatever he was called out there to do, Gun comes up, looks around, tells everybody, shh. He opens up his soup, the cup of soup, and eats a whole bunch of it and sets it back down and closes it and, walk off. So Billy come back up in there maybe about 3 or 4 minutes later. He sit down by his soup. He looking at TV for a minute. Then all of a sudden he grab his soup. He grab it. He opened it and looked. So he immediately, I think, could tell maybe it wasn't as heavy as it should have been or whatever. So he get mad and throw the soup up against the wall. He like, man, who the hell been in my soup? Who been up in my soup? Immediately, Gun said, I've been up in there. What's up? You got a problem or something? You want to get down? You want to get down? So now, Billy really don't have no choice but to say, yeah. You know what I'm saying? So Gun like, yeah, come up over here. Come up in my cell. Now, from where I'm sitting at the table, I'm already positioned, fortunately, to see pretty clearly the cell that they're going into the fight. They're going into to fight. So now in the county jail, we wear jumpsuits. So a lot of times when people get ready to fight, they'll go take their jumpsuit off because it kind of restricts you. You know what I'm saying? So Gun took his jumpsuit off. He walked up in the cell. He walked up into the cell. Then Billy took his jumpsuit off. So like I said, I slid over so I could have a better view of the situation. So Gun walks in there. He goes to the back. He's a little bit out of my view. Billy go up in there. When Billy get up in there, Billy try to get off. Boom! All of a sudden, Gun get up on him. Boom! Beep! Beep! Boom! Boom! Bop! Beep! Bop! And that was it, man. That fight couldn't have been no longer than 45 seconds at the most. Probably 30 seconds. Gun, he bounced up out of the cell. You know what I'm saying? Gun went up in there and put hands on him quick, like he was praying for him. Like, oh, woe to the stupid child who has faith, who has no faith in the power of the lefts and the rights. You know what I'm saying? He came up out here and stuff. So now I'm wondering, where the hell is Billy? You know what I'm saying? What's going on with Billy? So I eventually walked around the table, made my way over there. Then I peeked up in the cell. Billy is sitting in the back. At the end of the cell, they got a bench, a desk, and a little stool. He's sitting on the desk part. He punch drunk. He woozy like he didn't have some of that heroin and he ready to nod off or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So after a couple of minutes, he come up out of there. And if my memory serves me right, Gun tell him, now go get a mop and clean that stuff up. Because when he threw the soup, it hit the wall and it went all over the place or whatever. And so yeah, man, as I think back on it now, Gun probably had a problem with him and did that just to so they could go get that fade out the way or whatever. Because like I said, man, the second Billy asked who been in his soup, Gun immediately spoke up like, yeah, I did that or whatever. And so now, as I'm sitting back here thinking about it, man, for him to do that was extremely disrespectful. First of all, you gonna go in the man's food without permission. And then to add insult to injury, then you gonna beat the man's ass using the energy and the nutrients that his soup provided. So yeah, that was totally out of pocket. But anyway, y'all already know what it is. It's your boy 16 to life. Resume normal program.